Hi guys, in this video I decided to make another tutorial, but this one is going to be about command prompt. Um, a lot of you probably know basic functions, but there's a lot of people out there who are new to command prompt who want to learn more. So I just came up with 11 must-know commands. I say must-know, but they're basic tasks in command prompt that anyone should know when you're using command prompt, because there's multiple uses for it. You can boot in safe mode with command prompt to restore a computer or to kill viruses. Um, let alone, it's very good because you can fix things with it. And command prompt is really like the heart of Windows. The GUI is very nice, the fact that you can click a button and see something. But what happens in the background is more or less these commands. And that's really what I want to teach. So this tutorial is going to have 11 different commands, very simple commands, and I'm going to show you guys what they're about. So first, let's discuss command prompt. How do you open command prompt? Well, you can click your start button, and in the search for programs, you can type in CMD, and just click on the little black icon with a C colon /. And this is command prompt. Command prompt will always open up saying Microsoft Windows and the version of Windows, and then it'll give you a directory of where you're standing. In this case, I'm the user Elon, and I'm logged in under my username, and I'm starting command prompt. Therefore, my initial startup point is in this directory, which is C users Elon. And this is a physical directory on my computer. There's actually a folder in C drive called users, and inside that folder there's a folder called Elon. How else can I get to command prompt? I can click on the start button, I can click on all programs, I can go to accessories, and in accessories I can click on command prompt. Now this exists also in Windows XP. You can click on start run CMD to get to command prompt. Also you can go to start programs accessories and click on command prompt. And of course you can boot into Windows in command prompt. You'll get a black screen with just this little blinking cursor, and it'll tell you that you're in C drive. Usually you start off in C drive. Alright, so let's start talking about our commands. So let me reopen command prompt again. And the first command I want to talk about is who am I? This is an actual command. I'm going to type in command prompt, who am I? And you'll see that right away the response I get is the domain name, which is Elon-PC, the computer name, and then you see the backslash, and it's going to say the username Elon. So why is this good? It's good to know what user you're logged in under. Sometimes this comes in handy. A lot of technicians would understand why this comes handy. When you're inside somebody's computer, you want to verify the username, the domain name, or the computer name, you would use the command who am I? No spaces, just who am I? Simple as that. That's how you know what user you're logged under. So this is the first command prompt, the first command rather, that I want you guys to know. So very simple command to remember, who am I? That's it. See, that was nice and easy. Let's go jump into the next one. The next one is called system info. No matter what computer you're on, you can just type this in, and it's called system info, and watch what happens when I type it in. System info without a space, just two words, system info put together, and you'll see that the command prompt will right away begin collecting information about my computer. This is super useful when you fix something, when you fix a computer. And let's see what kind of information it collects. It tells you the host name, which is the computer name, the operating system name, operating system version, the manufacturer of the system, the type of OS build that it is, who the registered owner is, the product ID, the original install date, when we installed Windows. So in this case, you see that I installed Windows on April 1st, 2012. System boot time, which is when I booted the computer up. You'll also see who the manufacturer is for this computer, including the model and the type of processors. Again, this is very useful information. You'll also get the BIOS version, the Windows directory where Windows is installed. Again, very, very useful. Where the boot device is located, how much physical memory is available, what is the maximum amount of memory, what is available, what is in use, and also where the page file is located. Again, this is a very, very good for people who fix computers. You'll see the domain is workgroup, and the logon server is 2 slashes in my computer name. So when you use the command who am I, you essentially would get the information of who you logged in under, but when you type in system info, it'll give you a really, really, really big list of everything installed in the machine, and it'll also tell you basically, more or less very personal information about the computer, like time zone, memory, um, and this is something very useful. Again, when someone fixes a computer, you'll want to know this. Some hobbyists may do it to their own computers, even right now as they watch the video, just to see what kind of information they can pick up on their computer. But again, this is a very, very cool thing. Like I said, very, very useful. It also lists the amount of hotfixes installed by Windows when you run a Windows update. Also, at the very bottom, you'll see that it lists your network card, including the type of network card you have, the kind of connection that's currently going on. The DHCP is enabled, and I obtained the IP 192.168.1.1. That's my router where I get my IP address, and of course the DHCP server gave me the IP address 1.4, which is going to take me to the next. Yeah, let me do this next so I can just show you guys. So let me mark system info as complete. You know what that is. And now let's go to ipconfig, something everyone must know. I think everyone does know it, but I'm going to go over it too. So system info gave me the IP address. Now let's type in ipconfig and hit enter. You'll see that ipconfig will not only give you the IP address, it'll also give you the gateway and the subnet mask. So this is good when you're fixing computers also. It tells you whether there's a static IP, if it's a dynamic IP, what the IP is, and what's the what information we're using to obtain that IP, such as DNS servers and stuff like that. So this is all has to do with your network, your internet. Just remember it's ipconfig. Now, you can also do this command where you can go ipconfig / and then type in something like renew. Now, if I hit enter, renew, I'm basically going to ask my network adapter to renew my IP address and try to get a brand new IP address from the router I'm connected to. So this is also very important. Why? Because sometimes people who have a bad internet connection, sometimes it's stuck or frozen or they can't go online. The first thing a lot of technicians do is type in this command, ipconfig / renew. ipconfig / release would release the IP address. It would make the adapter go back to a released state where there is no IP address, and then they would type in renew. Renew would request a new IP address, and it would try and bring you back up online. Again, just a little tip out there, just so you know. But most of the time, if you do want to know your IP address, it's ipconfig. If you connect it to a router, you'll get only the IPv4 internal IP, but not your external IP. You would have to go to a website such as whatsmyip.org or .com or ipchicken.com. Okay, and also ipconfig / flush DNS would flush your DNS settings. Now, this is a simple internet command, much like ping. I know you guys know about this one, ping, just ping, like let me ping Google. So right now I'm pinging Google, and Google is sending me back data. It's telling me I have 0% packet loss, which means that my internet connection is very active. You know, there's no lag. Like none of these pings came back as timed out. Timed out meaning that I wasn't able to touch with Google or whatever host I'm pinging. Ping 192.168.1.1, I'm really pinging my router right now, and then my router is responding to me. I can ping any IP address on my network and see if I have a response, and if I ping it and it says 100% loss and request timed out, you know that that machine is offline or you don't have internet access. Very simple stuff, cool stuff to learn. Ping google.com -n let's say 10, will ping Google 10 times. This is sometimes good to watch. You see how it's pinging and giving me a ping back? This is good to watch sometimes to see whether your internet connection has any issues. You would see that in the middle of these sendings, one node would fail, and you would say, oh, okay, this is where I'm having a problem. Obviously, if there's a failed node, my connection is not stable. So that's what ipconfig is. So let me mark that as complete. Next is a task list. The command tasklist, task list, will just list everything that's running on my computer. Much like going to Control-Alt-Delete and starting the task manager. I can right-click my desktop and click Task Manager, and the same tasks listed here I get in Command Prompt. So why is this useful? This is useful if, let's say, for example, you have a hidden program in the background or a virus or something of that sort. You can actually use task kill, which I'm going to show you at the very end, to kill that task. So you'll see right now everything that I have running open. This is everything that's actually executed right now and using memory on my computer. So again, very, very interesting thing to have, to be able to see what's running on the machine, especially if your task manager is disabled. You actually have task manager ability within command prompt. So again, very, very cool task. Very, very cool command, rather. Next thing is very simple, CD. CD is basically to change directories. Basically, I'm in C users elan right now, right? So I'm going to type in CD, C colon, backslash, and I'm in my C drive. So let's say I want to do dir. I want to see the directory tree inside of C drive. And these are all my directories inside of C drive. So let's say I want to navigate back to users. So I'm going to type in cd users. Now this will work if I'm navigating in a folder that the users folder is in. Let's say I'm outside of it, I would have to type in the full path, like cd colon backslash users. And you see I'm inside users, and again dir would list what's inside the directory. In this case, let's go back to my name, CDILAN, and I'm back in there. Very, 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 very fun. Now, let's continue on to how to make a directory. Now, let's say you want to make a directory with command prompt. You can use this in batch files. Let me CD my desktop, and let me take you to my desktop. Here's my desktop, and I'm going to type in mkdir, and I'm going to make a directory called example. I'm going to hit enter. So if you look now on my desktop, there's a new folder called example. So I can make a directory. So very nice command to make directories. You don't have to go through Windows, right click, choose new. You could do it all through command prompt. This is useful when you can't get inside your computer, more or less. Just keep that in mind. So I made a directory called example. Now let me go in there. Let me type in cd example. Now I'm inside that directory. So it's a very cool thing to make directories. Remember, it's mkdir, short for make directory. And let me get out of there. And now I have here, let me use the move command first. I'll teach you that one. So you can move files, right? So let me go to my desktop and make a new file called, I already have a file called test.txt in here. So let me cd back into my desktop. See, when I type in cd desktop, because there's no folder called desktop in example, it won't let me in there. So let me cd directly into C users elan desktop, and I'm back in my desktop folder, and I'm going to copy, right? I'm going to use the command copy test.txt into C users elan desktop example. And you'll see here one file was copied, right? I get a confirmation. And when I go into this folder, example, you'll see that test was copied. Here is the test file I copied through command prompt from my desktop into this folder that I created also with command prompt. Which leads us to, let's see what the next thing on the list is. We didn't move. Oh, next is delete. So let's say you want to delete a file. You want to delete a file, a task, anything like that through command prompt. How would you go about doing that? Well, you'll have to navigate to that folder, or you could just type in the full path. In my case, I'm going to navigate into the folder example. You'll notice I have that folder open right here behind command prompt. And I'm going to type in del, which is the command I'm talking about, and I'm going to type in deltest.txt, test.txt, and I'm going to click enter. And you'll see that it's gone, it's deleted. Now it's in my recycle bin. Again, this is very cool to delete files when you can't get into Windows. This is a very useful command, which is why I'm showing you this very important command. So it's del for delete, and then the full path in the file name, or just the file name if you already are navigated into that folder using that cd command, which you've seen me use plenty of times. So let me move on forward now. We have the rename function. The rename function, I should have showed you before I deleted this file. Let me go and make a new file directly through here, and I'll name it test, right? So let's use the rename function, and let's type dir just to see, and we have our test.txt in there. Now let's rename it. We're going to choose rename test.txt to test1.txt. And you'll see that it got renamed. And if you look at the background, you'll see that test just became test1.txt. And I was able to rename it successfully. Very, very good command. These are all basic commands that you're used to doing with your graphical interface in Windows. Let me delete del test1.txt. And I deleted the file. Again, these are very useful commands that you use on an everyday basis, except you're doing them with your mouse and clicking instead of using commands. And that's the point of the video, to show you commands. What do I have in here? Oh, let's say I want to create a file, especially I went back to text file, right? Because that's the easiest example to show. Let's say I want to create a text file. What I would do is I would type in notepad, right? Notepad test. Again, I'm going to use the word test .txt. So I'm actually writing the application, which is going to create the file, which is notepad, and I'm giving it the file name and extension, and I'm going to hit enter. And I get a pop-up saying cannot find test.txt. Do you want to create a new file? And if I select yes, you'll see that test.txt was just created, and I can actually type whatever I want in there in Notepad. Save it, close it. And I'm going to delete this file. Actually, I'm not going to delete it. I'm going to move on to my next example. So let me open this one, right? So my next example, or my final example, is task kill. Task kill, again, I use this constantly when fixing computers, when I fix people's computers, because sometimes they just have these relentless little viruses and you can't seem to close them. But if I get into command prompt and safe mode, I can kill and delete the file. So let me show you what task kill does. So I'm going to, for example, use a task I already have open. I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to write task list. And you'll see that I have Notepad open. I have Notepad open in the background, and command prompt is telling me, yes, I see Notepad in the task list array of files, right? So I'm going to use task kill / image name, right? I believe it's image name. Yep. You put task list / im for image, right? The image name. Remember this, when you use task kill, you want to press space / and then type im for the image name, and then type in notepad.exe, right? Or virus.exe, or whatever task you want to kill. It's all in the list over here. And if I hit enter, you'll see that it killed it for me. It closed it completely. So that's really a cool thing I wanted to show you guys. See, it says here, success, send termination signal to process notepad.exe. So that's what task kill does. It sends a termination signal to kill the task. So if you have an unwanted program open, you can browse it within your task list. You can see the names of all your tasks, and you can use that task kill to kill that program. And that's it pretty much. I think that's just my lesson. You can always rewind back and check out the commands. And to go back over this, we used who am I, right, to see what our username is and what our computer name is. We use system info to see information about our system, the computer you're currently using. ipconfig to see IP configuration or internet protocol configuration. This is internet related stuff. Task list to see what we have running open. We used CD to maneuver from folder to folder. I should have put in here also dir, which is directory. When you're inside of a folder, you can type in dir and it would list all the contents of that folder. I used it in the example, but I didn't really go over it. But it's dir really. We went over mkdir, which is make dir, make directory, making new folders. We used the move command to move one file from one folder to another. We used the rename command to rename test to test1. So we used it to rename. This is really cool because sometimes when you can't delete a file, you can close it, rename it, and when you restart your computer, if that file pops open by itself, we can break that connection to when it always starts by renaming the file. Then the startup wouldn't know where it is. Again, this is just technical stuff mainly, like I said, technician stuff to fix things. So we use the rename command, we use the delete command, we use the create text file command. I showed you guys how to create a text file from just command prompt using Notepad. And lastly, I showed you task kill, which is used to kill tasks or close them, or send a termination signal, like I said, like the command prompt said, to totally close down the task or process which is open. And that's it. So if you know nothing about command prompt, now you know a little bit, and if you knew a lot before, you know a little bit more now. And if this just brushes up your skills, God bless. And that's it. So again, thank you very much. Thank you for watching all my videos. I work hard on my tutorials. I like sharing information with people, and I truly appreciate you guys visiting, watching, subscribing to me, etc. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.